Amber from Influence Updates on Instagram and also on TikTok, and tonight I'm going to be talking about 3 of the biggest Australian influencer news stories that happened this week. So I'm going to be talking about blue-eyed Kayla Jade. So this week I found out something interesting about her. Also, Martha Kalifatidis, she did a Q&A this week and there were some very revealing answers. And finally, Montana Older, she is a TikToker and she has controversially expressed that she would like to have her prep child wag 1 day per week so that she only attends 4 days. So I'm going to get started. Also, if you do have questions, you can put them in the comments now and I will read them like in between each segment. Same with TikTok. So first of all, blue-eyed Kayla Jade. So this week, somebody sent me an anonymous message. So in my link tree in my bio, I have an NGL link where you can send me anonymous messages. It is completely anonymous. I cannot even trace who sent me these things. So sometimes people send me hate things and that's fine, whatever. I'm not here to be liked. But sometimes people send me really interesting gossip. And this person sent me a message saying, I heard blue-eyed Kayla Jade has a partner and 2 kids. Now, I don't know why they didn't just DM me that, but fair enough. They wanted to send it anonymously. And so I put it out to my subscribers saying that I have been sent this anonymously. I don't believe it's true. Like, I've never seen any evidence of this being true. What do people know? And I was inundated with a lot of things, people saying, yes, it is true, she has 2 kids. So apparently back when blue-eyed Kayla Jade was on TikTok at the start, like this is before her OnlyFans career took off, I suppose, she did explain that she has 2 kids and a partner, but I don't think she ever showed the kids online, and I'm not going to be showing them or saying their names or anything. I don't even know that information. But yeah, she used to say that she has 2 kids and a partner, and I suppose as her OnlyFans career has taken off, she's decided to not be like a mummy vlogger sort of person and keep that private life private, which I think is so great. You don't see that very often. Actually, you don't see that ever, that somebody has kids and doesn't show them online. So yeah, that is really cool and so unexpected. Like she also looks really young. Like I've read that she's only 31. She was born in 1994, so she's 31 this year. I thought she was only about 21. So yeah, that is also very interesting. Someone here said that they sat next to her at a hair salon on the Gold Coast and they believe her and the partner aren't together anymore. However, they possibly live in the same house and raise the kids together. So I don't know the dynamic of all of that, but yeah, it is true. She has 2 children that she birthed, because that was another question I then got was, are they stepchildren or biological children? Or yes, so they are 2 children that she birthed. And I know that because I then Googled this and there's an old article on the internet of when she got her BBL surgery and she was talking about the recovery from that being the most painful thing she's ever been through, and that it was more painful than her 2 childbirths that she went through. And yeah, I agree. BBL surgery looks incredibly painful. I've seen a lot of people vlogging about it and I just don't know how anyone could put themselves through that. It looks so painful. In other Kayla Jade news, there was some more drama, I suppose, this week. Or that wasn't drama, but there was a little bit of drama this week in that Kayla shared that after the Drake concert last week, she was getting an Uber home. Now, this is really awful, so trigger warning if you need one for, well, I suppose I've got to say it, like if you need one for sexual abuse. But she was catching an Uber home after the Drake concert and she had her eyes closed as she'd been drinking. So was sitting in the back of the taxi or the Uber with her eyes closed. The Uber driver then got to the stop where she lived and he then got out of his Uber, walked around to her door, opened the door for her, which she was sort of like, okay, this is a bit weird. Maybe he's just being polite, don't know. Then he proceeded to get on top of her. Luckily, she was able to get him off because she wasn't as drunk as he might have thought. Like, she was still conscious and everything, of course. But now she's really worried because, of course, he knows where she lives because he drove her home and she has, of course, reported it to Uber. But it is so scary. And then I noticed a lot of people in the comments were saying that, you know, similar things have happened to them. And, oh, it just makes me sick. Like, that is just so scary to think what could have happened and what possibly has happened to other people. Yeah, that is the end of that story. I always feel weird after telling a horrible story to then go on to the next thing. But I will go on to the comments. People are asking, have I definitely got confirmation that it's true that she has children? Yes, so a few people have messaged me saying like they've seen her children locally and they've seen her locally. And also I have been sent a screenshot of her Facebook page that does have a profile picture with her children, but obviously I'm not sharing that because I don't need that information and none of us need that information. What else are people saying? People are saying that the Peggy Sue story is probably false. Well, probably. She's an entertainer and the story is entertaining, so I guess it doesn't have to be true, does it? Is she really a sex worker then? Well, yeah, OnlyFans creators are classified as sex workers because they do sexual things for money, I suppose. I feel that was made up to deflect from the Tasha Page drama she got herself into. Oh, okay, people are saying that she made up the Uber driver drama. Drama's not the right word. Yeah, you know what I mean. Incident, I suppose. What are people saying? Can you please repeat the Kayla Jade information? I'm not going to repeat it, but I do upload all these to YouTube afterwards, and I'll timestamp where all the segments are if you do want to watch anything back. And you can also watch all my old videos on YouTube for free and go to the sections of the influencers you're interested in. All right, so are there any comments on TikTok? Yeah, a few other people are saying that she's made the story up to get the heat off her about the Drake thing. So a lot of people were criticising her for going to the Drake concert, being that he is apparently a known pedophile. I don't know if he's ever officially been charged with that, but he does have a history of relationships, whether they be friendships or romantic relationships, with a minor, as Kendrick would say. Kendrick Lamar. Do you get content from Tattle and from Snark forums? Not Tattle. I don't know. I suppose over the years, people have definitely sent me in probably screenshots from Tattle, but Snark forums, I suppose Reddit, like, yeah, people probably send me links to that. Most of the stuff is sent to me, and yeah, people will send me links to Reddit threads. A lot is in a Facebook group who have asked me not to name them because every time I do, they get inundated with follow requests. And yeah, a lot is just my general viewing of social media. Like, I obviously love social media. I love influencers, and that's where I get my content from. She does talk about her ex-partner sometimes and says they're close and she buys him gifts and stuff. Yeah, okay, well, there we go. Oh, someone's saying here, outspoken. Yeah, there is an outspoken Facebook group, and I do get a lot of information from there, but no, that's not the one that says I can't mention them. They definitely said I can mention them. All right, so second story is Martha Kalifatidis. So she is no longer involved with her fashion brand Lem Wear that she founded with her besties. So this came as a shock to everybody. So everybody knew this as Martha's brand. So she started this, I probably should have looked up, I'd say probably 2 years ago. She started it with her best friends. And yeah, like there was sort of a lot of hype around the release of it, but then we haven't heard a lot since, and maybe this is why, because Martha is no longer one of the owners. Of course, there's rumours that she fell out with her friends, and I sort of do agree with this, because when she first posted, it was a Q&A, and someone said, "You still doing Lem Wear?" And she just simply said no. And that to me meant she doesn't want to go into it because it was like a bad ending sort of thing. But she then deleted that, and then she reposted and wrote, "Unfortunately, no. Lusting over this boxy pink shirt though. I wish the brand all the best moving forwards." So I think that sounds a little bit more like a positive sort of spin. But then, like, in a few slides later, there was a Q&A about starting a kids clothing brand, and she said she would be interested in that. So whether it is that she didn't have the capacity to do everything Lem Wear needed her to do, and whereas a kids brand she could sort of take it at her own pace, that could be a possibility. But I feel like having business partners would make the load easier, but I mean, I don't know. And yeah, I guess the brand did then unfollow her as well, so I find that a little bit weird, and she no longer follows Lem Wear on Instagram. So make of that what you will, but yeah, we don't know the answer, but it seems suspicious to me. But I think that influencer friendships are constantly falling out, and that's why our automatic reaction is always, oh my gosh, they must have had a fight, because it's usually true. And then another interesting question that she put on her Q&A was someone asked for inspiration outfits for their backyard engagement party, of which she recommended a $2,500 Nina Ricci dress, this one, like a black and white polka dot one. $2,500. And then someone asked for inspo outfit for getting engaged. So this wasn't a backyard engagement, just a normal engagement. And she recommended a $5,000 dress from Ma Teresa. the brand is Alea. That's it there. It is maroon. It's coming up black on the screen, but it is maroon. So yeah, I mean, gorgeous dresses, no doubt, but surely people hire these things, because you wouldn't buy a $5,000 dress that you're only going to wear once, surely, unless you resell it. But a lot of people were immediately like, oh my gosh, she's so out of touch. How could she do this? But the thing is with Martha is, I think that she's like unapologetically wealthy, and she's not trying to be relatable. I think that she's trying to position herself as like a luxury creator, sort of like Beck Judd. Like, she's not pretending that she goes shopping at, you know, Target for an engagement party dress. Like, yeah, I think that it's okay that that is her segment of the market, and she doesn't have to pretend to be relatable. Also, I just remembered that with her brand Lem Wear, the only person I do see wearing it is Steph Claire Smith. And that is a really good marketing thing. Like, I see her wearing it quite a lot. So, yeah, I think that I definitely do still see the brand, but that is where I see it. All right, next questions. Oh, gosh, it's been a lot. The Ashley Barnes drama with going to Sydney when a cyclone is about to hit the coast. Yes, I didn't want to make that a headline because I just thought it sounded a bit like shamey, but yeah, Ashley Barnes and her husband did go to Sydney. What are we on Friday? They did go earlier this week, and a lot of people were concerned about that, given that there is a cyclone about to hit the Gold Coast. So they did leave their children behind on the Gold Coast, and they did go to Sydney. Luckily, they were able to make it back to the Gold Coast in time to then be there this week with their children, rather than like being locked out, because the Gold Coast airport is closed, and people were like, imagine if they get locked out of their own city and they can't, like, they're separated from their children for a week or two, and, you know, who would know what happens with the cyclone? Let's hope nothing. But yeah, it was, I guess, controversial, yeah, that they went to Sydney when the cyclone was about to hit. Oh, people are saying that that was to get the heat off the Gretty saga. So yeah, Gretty and Kiara both released videos this week, basically implying that they're ready to, oh no, that Ashley Barnes is that girl that has done bad things or something. I can't even remember, but they both got hundreds of thousands of views on their TikToks. They got so many comments. They had to turn off the comments, which I assume was for defamation reasons, because in Australia, maybe in the world, I think it's just Australia, when you have like a page, like Influencer Updates, for example, I am responsible for the comments on my posts. So if somebody writes something defamatory on my post, I'm the one who can get sued. And that is so, so crazy, especially when you're getting hundreds or thousands of comments. So that is why I often turn off comments on my Instagram. I probably need to do the same for TikTok, because the comments there are just out of control. But yeah, it could have been to defer from that drama, and it definitely made me forget about it, so it worked. How did the Tasha Page drama get connected to Kayla Jade? I haven't been on TikTok for weeks. Tasha Page drama. I'm not actually sure what the new drama would be. I know that she's always beefing with Veruca, but I don't know what any new drama might be. Martha has never lived in the real world. I go to Kmart for my fancy clothes. Haha. Yeah, true. I remember she did have a baby shower that was sponsored by Target, and she posted the pictures for like a few days or something, and then she deleted them all. So I thought that was kind of weird, and it was like a fake baby shower. It was one with like influencers and stuff at it, but then she ended up having a real baby shower with her family separately. It was a very interesting situation. But if I was going to get 2 baby showers, I wouldn't say no either. Oh, yeah, true. Another good point about the Sydney, Ashley Barnes being in Sydney, is that people were asking her about the cyclone and doesn't she feel worried about it and stuff. And she actually did that. She reposted somebody else's like essay, basically, saying this is how she feels. And in the essay, the person was saying that the panic is the most devastating part, like the panic and fear is the most devastating part of this cyclone, rather than the cyclone itself, and that she chooses not to engage with such low energy conversations and doesn't want to read the news. And the more energy you put into something, the more negative it's going to be and stuff. So I don't know, I guess she just sort of thinks she's a bit invincible, which, you know, is good and bad in different ways. But then it's also good and bad in different ways that people have this big fear. Obviously, the good ways is that it means that you're prepared, and it means that you're not in the way of other people. Like, I've noticed a lot of people on Instagram, they'll be down the foreshore watching all the waves in Surfers Paradise, and I think, shouldn't you be home? Like, if emergency services need to like get down there and like, or if like a big wave comes in and then washes you away and emergency services have to deal with you, wouldn't you just be better off at home? I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading into that too much. People are questioning whether Martha is actually loaded because she lives with her parents. I think that is definitely just like a cultural thing. Like, she's said before that she likes living with her parents, and she does live there for free. She has mentioned she doesn't pay to live there, but I don't think she lives there because she's broke. I think she just loves living there. Is Ashley Byrne still one of your favourite influencers? 100% yes. Like, I still love her content. I find her so interesting. She has been doing this for so long, and I feel like every week there's still something that I'm like, whoa, okay, like today it was the Sydney thing, and then it was like the brain aneurysm thing, and then it's like the fight with her friend, and I feel like there's always something going on, and I really like her podcast lately. She's giving so much detail into her life that she's never given before, and she is so entertaining. She is a great character in this influencer world. I treat it as like a TV show, and she's like a strong character. Yeah, a lot of people here are saying they wouldn't risk being separated from their kids during a cyclone. This person saying they wouldn't even risk being separated from their cat in a cyclone. Someone's got receipts for Tasha and Veruca drama. Tasha and Kayla went to the Drake concert together. Yes, I did see that. Oh, everyone was upset with Kayla over it. Yeah, fair enough. Montana Older has joined the chat, which is great because I'm about to talk about her. Just trying to catch up on the comments. Oh, I have. All right. So Montana Older, as I mentioned, she is a TikToker. She is from near where I live. So I live in Geelong, and she lives near Geelong as well, on the Surf Coast, and she is known for being a little bit alternative, sort of like hippie, I guess people would call it. She is Christian, so she talks about on TikTok like her, I think this morning she was listening to like gospel music or something. She doesn't wear sunscreen because the chemicals in it are worse for you than the sun exposure itself or something. Like, you know, those sort of like alternative sort of hippie views. I find her very interesting because, you know, I like hearing other views on things. It opens up my eyes and mind. I think it's a good thing. We don't all have to believe the same thing. But I have also talked about her on a Friday Night Live before, where she was criticising the libraries in the Surf Coast Shire, how they now have to ask children what gender they identify as upon entering the library, and they can't assume that they identify as the same gender as last time, so they need to ask them every time they come to the library. And she was saying it's absolutely ridiculous, and they shouldn't be putting those ideas into children's heads. So lately she has come up with a new idea. So in Victoria, I've heard public schools in prep, which is the year before grade 1, you only have to attend Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday for the first 4 weeks. And I think that's just like to orientate the children into the classroom, and they have 2 days and a break and then another 2 days. And she has said that she has loved these 4 weeks. She's loving that one day in the middle where her 3 kids all get to spend time together, and she gets to spend time with all of them. And that the idea of sending her child to school, or her children in the future, to school 5 days a week, for them to all be separated from each other and to all be separated from her, just doesn't feel comfortable for her. And I think that is a really good concept. Like, it did make me think that, yeah, I have 2 children, and it does seem weird to me as well that the idea of them being separated 5 days a week, that is really weird to me as well. I haven't reached that stage of my life yet, so I don't know what it would be like, but I'm just picturing it. I'm like, that is so weird. Like, they just love spending time together. But anyway, a part of the reason why she doesn't want to send her child to school on a Wednesday is because she likes that there's no rush that day. So when you have to get your children to school, it's obviously very rushed in the morning. And yeah, I suppose that's the end. That was sort of all her points that she made. But yeah, it was very controversial. It got a lot of controversial comments, and a lot of people were saying it would make it hard on the teachers, whereas a lot of people were saying this sounds great, like maybe more schools should adopt this. I actually Googled it, and there was a school in Melbourne at one point that did adopt this 4-day school week for children. I think that it's great in a lot of ways, but also it doesn't really work in terms of like people who work full time. Like, what do they do with their child on that 5th day? So I think that would be why school is 5 days and work is 5 days. Like, that's probably culturally why we do that. But yeah, I don't know. There's lots of different thoughts on it. As you can see, like, I don't think it's right or wrong. I just, like everything, I just like to see the pros and cons of everything. People are agreeing here that the library thing is confusing for kids and is ridiculous. Which library is that? I believe it's a Surf Coast Shire initiative. Like, maybe it's just like all public libraries. I'd have to look into the Jan Junk one. Also, the thing is, sometimes in the procedure manuals, what actually happens in reality is a little bit different. But I remember when I went to the Lara library, they had like these name tags on the bench that you could put on your child, and you could stipulate like how they identify, and then it was like a rainbow badge or something. So maybe it was like a voluntary sort of thing. Have I been watching the Meghan Markle Netflix show? Not yet. I do need to watch it though. Yeah, a lot of people are agreeing here that children shouldn't be asked what gender they identify as. I do agree. I do agree they shouldn't be asked, because I don't see why it matters. Like, you could just call them person, or like, you don't have to call them boy or girl. Like, I've seen that at a party recently. There was an entertainer and she said, oh, that person, or that child, I think she said. They didn't have to say that boy or girl. Will this be uploaded to YouTube? Yes, they are always uploaded to YouTube. Children of compulsory school age must attend school full-time unless they have an exemption. Well, yes, that is true legally, but I suppose, would there be room for a mixed method of like 4 days in a school, like a public system, and then 1 day of like homeschooling? I don't know if that's a possibility, because then you could get around that, or yeah, I don't know. Yes, I hope the public education system listens to an influencer from Geelong, somebody has said. I don't think Montana was trying to change things sort of necessarily. She was sort of just thinking out loud that would be a great idea that would work for her family, and that maybe she could look into the homeschooling idea, I think. This person said that their little one started prep this year and they would love for her to do 4 days rather than 5, but if it was a blanket rule... But only if it was a blanket rule. She's absolutely exhausted and misses us all dreadfully, and vice versa. Yeah, 5 years old to be in care 5 days a week is very exhausting for a child. But what do we do? What do we do? Daily Mail have dropped an article on Ashton and Cartier. Have you seen it? No, I haven't. That is interesting. I need to see what they're saying. Sorry to hear about Michelle Andrews' tragic news about her poor mum's cancer. Yeah, so a few weeks ago, Michelle Andrews announced that she was going on personal leave, and people weren't sure why. She didn't disclose why, and she has now revealed is the wrong word, shared, I suppose, that her mum has an incurable form of brain cancer, and I believe it's terminal. So yeah, it is really sad, and like, Michelle is pregnant at the moment, so everybody's just hoping that her mum lives to see her baby. So yeah, fingers crossed for that. It would just absolutely be horrible. Oh yeah, it would be awful. All right, sorry, I'll just check the TikTok comments now. What do you think about the influencers posting normal content when they are living in the cyclone? I do get a bit of an ick from this, actually, like, especially the ones that are making fun of it. Oh, there was somebody who said, like, for example, I think it was Lauren Simpson's husband, Mark, or maybe it was Emily Sky Fitt's husband, Declan. But someone, they wanted to go to the gym, and then they were like mad that the gym was shut. And it's like, really? Like, that's what you're mad about? Okay. Like, there's far worse things that are happening. And it was shut because of the cyclone coming, you know what I mean? Why did you stop posting for ages? Missed your content? I just stopped posting on TikTok because I focus mainly, like 99% of my time, on my Instagram subscription now. So I don't post much publicly anymore, but I still do my lives, of course, because it's really fun. Why do influencers have such shav names? Do they? I think they just have Aussie names. Maybe that's why. Can you trust Reddit? No, not really. There's a lot of stuff on there that you can't trust, but there's a lot of stuff that is true and a lot of stuff that is proven. Why not call out Indy Clinton for going to Drake? She has 2 children. Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to get into the politics of that, you are very welcome to. And yeah, Lauren Simpson's husband, Mark, I think it was Lauren and Mark together, they've just purchased a $9 million house on the Gold Coast. Yes, they actually purchased it nearly a year ago, but they're just about to move into it. And it has a casino and a games room. It is absolutely insane. And he's not been shy about the house and the location. It is called the Lighthouse and it is on the Gold Coast, so you can Google it very easily. And yeah, let's just hope that is fine in the cyclone as well. What do you think of Anna Paul posting like nothing happened with Mick? I honestly think that is the best way to be. Like, that is how to kill the drama, is just to continue on. Olivia Molly Rogers, she's really good at that as well. She never ever talks about speculation or drama or anything, and then we just forget about it eventually. It's annoying, but it's good for the influencer's sake. All right, well, I've been on here for nearly half an hour, so thank you all so much for